Hey, Graphic Design 2, we're going to talk about how to finish your GIFs. So some of you guys were working in Photoshop already, and some of you guys were working in Illustrator. But no matter what, we're going to have to finish and create the GIF in Photoshop. So what you're going to need to do to get set up is to make each frame their own layer. So if you were working in Photoshop, this should already be the case. So if you look at my layers over here, I've got my photos labeled as which number frame they should be, and they're all in separate layers. And then if you are working in Illustrator, all you have to do is make a new layer and insert the image into that layer. So that way it'll be layered like my images are here. So, and in order to do that from Illustrator, you just have to do File, Export from Illustrator, and make sure you click Use Artboards and export it as a JPEG. So that way you'll get however many frames that you made in Illustrator as images that we can then put into Photoshop. So again, just make sure each frame is its own layer in Photoshop. And then we're going to open a window called Timeline. So at the top up here, we're going to go Window, and we're going to search for the one that says Timeline. And then once you have all of these guys over here, there's this little drop down menu here. We can decide what to do, like how to make our animation, right? So we did not make a video, we made individual frames. So we want to click that drop down and make sure that it says create frame animation. And then after we see that it says create frame animation, it turns into a button. So we can just go ahead and press that button. And it's going to give us our first frame. So this first frame only has the first layer in it because that layer is the only one that had the eyeball turned on, right? So I've got this first layer that I want my hand about to pick up the pencil, and that eyeball is turned on, but all of the rest of them, the eyeball is turned off. Okay, so then what we're going to do is we're going to change the second, so that way it'll be like 0.5 seconds for each picture. You can change that after you test it later to see if you like it. But we're going to add a new frame by clicking on this little plus sign right here. And then we're going to change that eyeball so that the next number is on. So I'm going to turn on the number 3 and turn off the number 2. Right? And so I'm going to repeat that process for all of the frames that I want to include in my GIF. So I'm going to add a new frame and then turn the eyeball on for the number of frame that I would like it to be. And you guys can see here on the bottom of my timeline, I've got 1, 2, 3 frames. And they are the different pictures that I wanted them to be. So that way it looks like my hand is moving. So if we can add, let's do a couple more. So I'm going to add a new frame and then turn on the next picture, add a new frame, turn on the next picture. And then now we're going to have something where you can kind of see what's going on. So at the bottom down here, we can kind of test this GIF. So if we press play, it's going to show us what that GIF looks like. So it's repeating because that's what GIFs do, but you want to make sure that yours will also repeat by clicking on this little drop-down menu here and saying that it's going to repeat forever because that's what a GIF does, right? So I think that I might actually be able to get away with making this GIF faster. So I'm going to go ahead and stop it. And then I'm going to change this to be maybe 0.2 seconds instead on all of my frames. And that way I can test and see if I like that speed better. And then I would press play to test that. And I do think that I like that speed better. It makes more sense because I'm going to have more frames, right? But just for the sake of showing you how to export this. Okay, so in order to export this so that we can use it, we're going to do File, Export, Save for Web Legacy. So this one right here. And then when we do that, there's going to be an option here at the top that says GIF. Okay, so there's a lot of other options there, but we're going to make sure that it says GIF. And then we're going to also make sure that it's transparent, because a lot of you guys have images that you made that you want to be transparent. You don't want a big white square around it. So I'm going to make sure that transparency is selected. And then basically all we're going to do is save it. So all of these presets should be okay. And then we're going to come down here and we're going to say save. I'm going to go ahead and save mine in the folder that's for this class. I'm going to change the title of something that I can actually remember. I'm going to change this title to example, but you should make yours whatever title you think makes sense. And then we're going to press save. And then after you open it, then it's going to look something like this, right? And we can go ahead and put that onto our turn-in. So let me go ahead and open that so that way we can see how to turn it in. Okay, so you guys are going to have access to a document that looks exactly like this one, and you're going to upload your GIF where it says upload GIF here, and you're going to write me a 2 to 5 sentence artist statement explaining why this is an intimate and indispensable object for you, right? So we're going to go ahead and insert image, upload from computer, and I'm going to find that document again. So I'm going to go ahead and find the GIF and open it. And then ta-da, we have a fancy GIF of my hand moving. And then you guys are just going to click in here and write your statement. And then when you're done, you can upload it to the assignment. So easy peasy. Good luck.